There's a challenge with phrases. There's a challenge with narrative that's compelling. There's a challenge with understanding what all these different words mean. We hear words like social capital, social economy, social innovation, social enterprise. And in fact, at the end of the day, all of this is about how do we determine new ways to do good better? How do we figure out how we can both make money and make a social impact? Not that those are completely different terms, but in fact, they're two sides of the same coin. So anything we can do to build our social capital, that is our way of doing good with each other and making money, then that's the kind of space that we're in. Within the city of Adelaide, there's a major renovation going on with the Royal Adelaide Hospital. This is a major opportunity for the city of Adelaide. How do we dream big? How do we vision for what that site can be? And one of the things that we've been playing with at the residency is that what Adelaide offers the world is a place to think, a place to slow down, a place to solve complex challenges by engaging others like academia, corporates, government, and the nonprofit sector, and putting individuals and users at the center of our challenges. Maybe the Royal Adelaide Hospital could offer an innovation vacation for the world. That's a huge opportunity for the city of Adelaide. In the regions, there's a huge opportunity to think about how we can deal with issues like job loss of the manufacturing sector or in the mining industries by creating new jobs and new opportunities in the social impact sector. So the challenge, of course, is the pay scale will be different, and we've got to deal with that. But on the other side, the ability to bring your whole self to your work, the ability to make money and make an impact. And actually, one of the things we don't think about is the amazing skills and expertise of those who've worked in manufacturing or mining, what they can bring to the social impact sector to make it better, to make it more impactful, to make it streamlined, and to open new opportunities that people just never thought about because they were trained in a particular way. So when I came to Adelaide, I was struck almost right away by the dependence on government, particularly state level of government. And now I get it a lot more. The government has been incredibly innovative, and it's a real employer of choice for people, and there's lots of wonderful things that are happening there. But there's also some limitations to that. It's hard for government to take risk. There are other challenges that make innovation within the public sector challenging. But there's a huge opportunity and a real interest to have people work together outside government with links in and links out. I've seen best practices almost everywhere. Up in the north, I was able to visit the Holden site, and over 900 people are losing their jobs, and by any measure, that's a hugely devastating impact on a community. What they've done in Holden is looked around the world for best practices in transitions. They've set up a transition center that works with the employees, their families, and their supply chain, because everybody's impacted by things like plant closures. What they could have done is handed people an envelope and said, good luck. What they did instead was deconstruct the skills and abilities of their employees and sold them to other employers in the region by bringing them in and explaining the value that Holden employees could bring to these new employers. And it's been incredibly successful with an 80% rate of success so far. It's early days, and they're really going to have to figure all of this out because of course there is a cost differential. But I'm really impressed by how proactive they're being. I would say that South Australia does an amazing job of looking globally for innovations and best practices that they can bring here and that they can own. And I think that's part of the facet of being a little bit isolated from the world. You know you have to reach out. Other places think they've got it all figured out. They're the ones that are going to lose out.